Hello, I'm Andrew Pine, and thanks for joining us once again for the Halloween Horror Fest. Though it only lived a short life, the Dreamcast amassed a huge library of games, and a lot of those are horror games. Some are better than others, and today, in this installment of the Halloween Horror Fest, we're going to look at what's worth playing on your Dreamcast for a little scare and a lot of fun. First of all, we're going to look at Carrier, an exclusive horror game from Jellicoe. I'd be remiss to call this a Resident Evil style game. It's a survival horror game, but it's fast and fluid and fun. It has nice slick control and I really quite like it. It features a neat scope system which allows you to identify threats down corridors, and features analog aiming anywhere on an enemy, allowing you to pull off headshots easily. Carrier is a game I'd recommend as a title that was unfairly dismissed at launch and deserves a look today. Next we have Shadow Man from Acclaim. Shadow Man came out on a variety of platforms, but it looks and plays best on Dreamcast. It's a really dark, dreary game with a lot of atmosphere, great controls and decent level design. The graphics are generally excellent, but character models suffer, and the soundtrack is a beautiful ambient one. I would highly recommend it. Following Shadow Man, we have the excellent Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. Now, The New Nightmare suffered mediocre reviews at launch as well, but I love it. It's a scary game with excellent atmosphere and lots of fun pop scares. The controls are fluid and aiming is functional and excellent, allowing you to move freely while you aim at enemies and also point your flashlight. You also have full control over your flashlight, and the way shadows play over environments and the soundtrack crashes makes this game a must for Halloween. Next we have Seven Mansions from Koei or however the hell you say the name, and it's a decent enough survival horror game. It was exclusive to Japan and features two characters, pretty decent graphics and animation, and intuitive first and third person control schemes. The game isn't the scariest thing you'll ever play and the voice acting is pretty cheesy, but it's a pretty engaging title that's definitely a unique addition to a horror collection. The only major issue I had with the gameplay of Seven Mansions is that the combat can be pretty boring if you're not using a gun. It pretty much just devolves into you standing there until one of you dies. Finally, we have Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil Code Veronica. Resident Evil 2 is almost identical to the PC port of the game and even runs on Windows. It looks very good with slick graphics and a smooth frame rate. The load times aren't much of an improvement over the PlayStation original, but the game is so creepy and totally playable that doesn't matter. I absolutely love the classic style Resident Evil games, personally feeling the series peaked with Remake on GameCube as absolute survival horror perfection. But Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica on Dreamcast are excellent additions to the series. Code Veronica looks amazing on Dreamcast and has some great spine-tingling moments that made me grimace once or twice, mostly due to the excellent sound design and character modeling. Out of all of the games I've mentioned, I would recommend these two classics the most.